Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm having a few technical issues as always. It never works quite how it's supposed to, so I can't see any comments or actually if anybody's watching, but that's okay. We will continue regardless. So once I finish this live, I will post this onto my YouTube channel so anybody can catch up. Unfortunately, at the moment, I can't link the two, and I'm not really sure why. Come on, why aren't you trying to get me things up? But I can't seem to get things to work today. I don't know if anybody else is having technical issues, but I am. Right. Let's carry on regardless. I will try and look out for comments as and when I can. So I thought today, as last week was the launch of the brand, I'm going to try and do a craft along inspiration Friday. So it's probably going to be either 11 or 12 on a Friday. Just to kind of catch up with people, to give inspiration, to share products, and just to kind of have a bit of fun. For those of you that asked on the show for a 6x6 and an 8x8 version of my logbook, I've got two. They're the same, it's just they've got different covers. There is a 6x6 and 8x8 version of this on Amazon now. I have posted a link in the comments, so if you want to go ahead and get that, then obviously you can. Unfortunately, it's £1 more expensive, but that's just because of the manufacturing costs and the size of the paper. I tried to get it as low as I could, and yeah, so I hope you guys who wanted that particular size will be happy with it. I will be sharing it with everybody, so guys, if you know somebody is particularly into that size for their card journaling, then please share it with them, because the more we share, the more we can all create together. So for those of you that are new to Crafty as a Fox, my concept of card making journaling is card journaling, where I have a logbook which I've created for you guys that you can purchase to keep your projects that you create in a book. So you've got your recipe of how you made it and your actually project. So then you can go back and you can recreate it if you want, or you can just have it as your own kind of, your own piece of work, which is nice. Because I love giving away cards, but sometimes I make something and I'm like, oh, I just want to keep it. Last thing about books, if you are new to any kind of card making, journaling techniques, I've got a brand new, and this is a beginner's guide with 12 different techniques to get you started. It's got a blow by blow about different products, such as your different types of stamps, just in case you are you're new to it and you don't know about stencils and how to use them, how to use stamping platforms, what inks to use with what, how they're made up and what they're made of, and how they will work in your crafting, and then a bit about collaging, ephemera and what that is. So it's got like a real kind of education about art journaling, mixed media journaling, card making, stamping, stenciling. It's all geared up for that. And also in the back of it there is the logbook pages as well, which I think there's about 15 spots. So other than that, I hope everybody else is well. Hi Jane, thank you so much for joining me. And was it, I'm going to double check, was it you that created that really beautiful project? Because it was gorgeous. I absolutely love it. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to double check. I'm so bad with my memory. I think I need to go to the doctors about my memory. I keep on forgetting things. Doctor's appointments, this, that and the other. I had the dentist this morning. Anyway, I digress. I'll tell you more about that later maybe. So I thought we would do a fun background, very kind of grungy, with a bit of a resist technique, because it's totally one of my favourite techniques, and there are several ways you can do a resist. You can use resist sprays, you can use resist glazes, so I like to use the Tim Holtz glaze. You can use embossing powder, like a clear embossing powder or white, or whatever works for you. but it's just a really fun technique to do. So I thought we'd do a bit of that, a bit of stamping, a bit of collaging, maybe get some of our bits from our ephemera and just do a little bit of creating. So yes, it was. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. I love it. I feel a beautiful, lovely colour palette. I just think you've done a lovely job there. Actually, talking about colour, so when I'm doing these Facebook Lives, I might be a bit scatty, so I apologise. I'm just going to go through like little techniques and tips and hints and things that I do. I know I love Distress. It's brilliant, isn't it? Little techniques and things that help me along the way when I'm creating, because sometimes we can get a bit stuck. So for instance, colour, sometimes I go, oh, I really want to use this specific colour, but I'm really not sure what colour that goes with it. So I do use a colour wheel. You'll find many artists use these, and these are really affordable. I will find a link because I know I got this somewhere at a reasonable price, so I will share that on my page. But yeah, a colour wheel, just really good to have on the table to grab when you go, oh, I really like that, I don't know, that red brick that Tim Holtz does. I mean, I'm obsessed with his colours, but there are other good companies out there too. And then I can, with my colour wheel, I can go, okay, so that's my main colour, and then it will give me the kind of the opposite, which is green, and then it will give me like a tri set of colours, so 3 that will work together. So sometimes I go more, but you know, that gives you like a base idea. So just, yeah, for me it's just really useful. Now what I am going to use today, I'm going to use a bit of a Grand Espresso twig, ice spruce and hickory smoke. So I've got some really kind of grungy colours to work with today. What else have I? We will be using I'll be using the embossing glaze. I've got my stencil, and you'll be glad to know my next stencil is already designed and off to the manufacturers for approval to make sure that it's all good and fine. My stamp set, because we're going to be using some of the stamps in it. I'm going to use some watercolour cardstock. I've got some black to mount it. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it into a card or if I'm going to take a photo and stick it into my book. I've not quite decided yet, but we'll get to that anyway. So, right. So let's flip you around and then you can see my work desk and we can start creating. So, she says, there we go. We're swapping over. We're swapping over. Right, fab. So I've got, like I just said, a piece of watercolour cardstock. I think this is 300 GSM, and it is the one from Creative Crafting World, the World of Paper. And first of all, I'm going to create my resist. So it's not going to look like I'm doing a lot, but I am. So I use an not embossing glaze. I use this Distress Glaze. It's kind of got a waxy texture to it, and I put a foam dauber in it. Now mine has been quite well used. I did a workshop not so long ago, and the ladies went to town on it. So I've had to give it a bit of a look at the state of that, a bit of a clean up. So let's just clean that up a little bit, otherwise it just goes everywhere, because you really don't need too much of this, because a little goes quite a long way. Now I did have a bit of paper. This one will do. So you can see I love keeping these bits because you just never know what you're going to use it for. And so let's pop that there, and let's bring my stencil in. Now I'm going to use my cogs. I'm going to use my cogs because I like my cogs. So I'm just going to, in a circular motion, add some of that glaze to my project, well, my workspace. I don't need to go too crazy because a little goes quite a long way. You won't be able to really see it, but I can see there is a glisten of resist. Now, how much did I? Let's do it. I'm gonna go a little bit crazy with this, I think, because I can. Let's pick up some more. A little bit too much. Let's edit that, and then yeah, just a little bit of spread. Oh yeah, that one's a little bit thicker. I'm going to add quite a bit of this because I like the deed. I just like it. I just like it. Now it's going to have to just spend a minute or so just kind of setting. I say setting, loosely setting, because it will smudge if I go in too quickly. So I'm going to just get that, pop that off. Oh, she says I should have grabbed another one. Oh, I'll just grab another one. I got quite a few of these. I got a whole thing of them. Right, let's pop that to one side. Let's get me cloth and just give that a little bit of wipe over, because I will be using it again with some ink, but I don't want to leave too much of that embossing glaze on top of it. So let's bring that back in, give it a little wiggle. Oh, sorry you can't stay, but it's lovely to see you and hear from you. I'm sure you'll catch up later on the video, but thanks, Jane. Amazing. I am now going to, let's just give that a little touch. Yeah, see that bit I've made a little bit too thick, I think. So I'm just going to gently edit, and I can always add some more back in if I need to. Let's have a little check. I think we're all right. We'll see how it turns out, eh? So I'm going to start with my lightest colours. So let's bring these in so you can see what I've got. I say lightest, I'm going to start with my lightest brown, I think. So let's just grab that, load it up with some ink, a little bit off there, and then let's just go in slightly here. And then I'm going to add a little bit down here. And you can start to see where I've got a really kind of faint resist, but it just gives a little bit more kind of, I don't know, texture, interest to the project. That's what I like. And I'm gonna grab, where should I go dark in the middle? What did I do on that one? I'm gonna go a little bit of dark. Let's pop you that side. I'm going to bring that just down here. So I'm kind of working like corners and down. Don't worry, because all of this will be properly blended in, because this is just the first layer. So when I'm creating, I like to kind of create layers, and it's all about the layers for me. All about the layers. Like building up my colour, building up my texture. Right. Okay, so now I'm going to swap over to my greys. Let's get some more of those. One, two. And there we go. Oh, wrong way, Kel. There we go. So let's go for our slightly lighter up here. I really like this grey. This is the ice spruce because it's got kind of like a bluey tone to it. Yeah, look, picking up that lovely, lovely texture. And let's bring that down. That's, look, really kind of grungy. Because what I can do is once I've done one layer, I can then go in and create another one. So let's go back in. Let's get our stencil. I'm going to go back over this bit because I want a bit more. Let's not take off too much, but a bit. And get some of those cogs in. And then a bit more down here, just one or two. There go. Okay, so give that just a sec. I'm going to add a little, shall I? Maybe not. I'm going to just tap on there, just to pat that down before I start. I think I need to give it a little bit longer. Yeah, I need to give it a little bit longer before I start taking it all off. Right. Let's start adding that. Oh, it's lifted it off a little bit. Right. Probably should have left it to develop a little bit longer, to be fair, to dry. But that's okay, because we can create more texture in other ways. Right, so I'm happy with that. I've got a little bit of that coming through. So now what I want to do is I want to get some stamping. So let's bring in those stamps and let's why on earth is my iPad playing up today? I say my iPad, it is my iPad, but my son has taken ownership of it, so it's no longer mine, which is okay. He likes to play Minecraft. Yeah, he loves it at the moment, which is great, because we've got one of those like little domain things. So it's just like family, and he plays with his uncle that lives in Germany, which is really lovely, really lovely. It's one way to kind of spend some family time, even when we're so far away. So what I'm doing is I'm using my my script stamp just to create a little bit of script, because it's one of my favourite things to do. I'm going to do a bit of generation stamping, so just taking some of that and then smudging it around, just those little bits that, and I never really want like a full impression when I'm doing this. I want a little kind of impression. And then let's do the same with the clock, not my clock, my gauge, but I'm going to put that on block, because, so I'm going to stamp off this one, I'm going to stamp it off, and I'm going to go for a bit of a lighter impression. Okay. I want that a little bit more. There we go. I like that with the circles. I like a circle. Something about a circle. Partial impression. There we go. Loving it. Now, what else do I want? What else do I want? I think I want a bit more of this colour in here, so I'm going to just start bringing that in a bit more. Make it a little bit darker, a little bit deeper. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit of it up here. Yeah, I like that. I like that. All about playing with your colours. So now I've got that. I have kind of, because I've just gone over it and the ink wasn't quite set, I have kind of smudged some of that. So let's just put that back in, because we can. There we go. Perfect. So the thing is because I've got that kind of resist on it, that may not set properly, but it's fine. It's fine. It's what we're working with. I'm liking that. So let's have a look with our border for our background. Really kind of grungy. So now I'm going to bring in my stencil again, but this time I'm going to bring in not you. I'm going to bring in some of those numbers and just kind of add some of those to the mix. Just a little bit. Is that dark enough? Oh, it's kind of like lifting, so let's go for a slightly darker. I think so, I've got some of that on there. So I've got kind of, it's kind of like just lifted some of that, which is kind of cool. I think because I've added the resist glaze and it's kind of smudged everywhere, what's happening is when I'm putting my stencil over it and then trying to put ink through it, it's actually lifting the ink because it's sitting on top of the resist, which is kind of cool. I didn't expect that, but it's because I went a little bit crazy with it. That's okay. So let's just get that there and let's get a little bit of that in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, you know, work around the card, adding and taking away colour as and where I want. That didn't really show up, did it? And then we're going to swap colours actually and go for the brown. Just get a little bit of those numbers. There we go, that's nice. I can spend hours just going in. Well, we won't. You can tell when I'm concentrating because I go quiet. Sorry about that. Right. Okay. Ah, happy with that. Loving it. Loving it, loving it. So let's now bring in that black just so I can check my kind of perspective on it. I love it. Perfect. Now let's bring in some of those little bits. Now I have cut, I've got beside me, let me know your thoughts. I've got some of my what they're called frames from my Alice packs. So I've got a couple of those. Let's pop those in there. Not sure if I'm going to go big butterfly today, or maybe owl. Oh, do you know, I think I'm going to go for the owl. I was thinking about using, so I put crackle paste on this one. Don't know if you can see it. Look how cool that looks. And I was going to add a bit of ink. We might do that in a minute just to see how it turns out, because I've not tried adding ink to it yet. I'm going to go owl, I think. And shall I do a journal card behind it? Possibly, I'm not sure. I might do. And then I did have a sentiment next to me. Time to think. I always need time to think. My brain is all over the place. So yeah, so I had the dentist this morning. I had to get a new impression done because I do this really bad thing where I grind my teeth at night and I can't stop it. I've done it for years. Crazy. Anyway, so shall we go black frame or white frame? I'm going to go black, and I'm just going to, so with the ephemera, it is on a uncoated cardstock, but it seems shiny because of the printing process, because it's a digital print. I'm going to bring that back in, and I'm just going to fade out some of my white lines. Now I could, oh dear Kelly, I could just trim it, but I can't be bothered to do any fussy cutting, so you know, this is my way around it. Just add in a little bit of a touch of ink just to kind of bring down that whiteness. But he is the perfect colours to go with our background. Look at that. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now let's move you over to one side. Oh, just going to have a slurp of my iced coffee. I've got it in a thing to keep it cool. And I also, so this is a die cut. I think it's an old Stampin' Up one. But, you know, when you just really like something, really like it, it's fun. Right, so I think I'm going to mount that on. Let's give it a little trim. Now, I can never cut straight, but that's, to be fair, when it comes to this kind of project, it doesn't really matter so much being straight. Let's get some black and stick that down. That's the beauty of kind of like card journaling, art journaling. It doesn't have to be perfect. Whereas I know, like, some people like to work like perfect. I like a little bit more chaotic. And I might trim that down just a touch. Here we go. Time to think. Sentiment is from the Paper Collection. If you were interested. And oh, I forgot to say, so Paper Collection is now available on my website as well as Create and Craft. So if you missed out on the show, then you can still get it now at my website, www.craftykelly.co.uk, and you can still get it at Create and Craft. It was really fun packing orders the other day. I really enjoyed it. I did take some photos. I'll share them at some point. So there is that. Before I commit to anything, I'm not sure if I want to use my journaling card. I'm going to have that poked in there and him poking out. And then I might stick that just under there. Don't know if I should go central or not. I really like him. He's kind of cute. Yeah, I think we're going to go for that kind of layout. So it's always best to kind of have a bit of a play around with the layout before you commit to it, because, you know, you don't want to go, oh yeah, I want it like this, and then we'll go a bit peaked on. So let's pop this down. Oh, I have forgotten one thing I wanted to do. One of my favourites. I think all of them are my favourites. I've got to add some kind of faux bleaching and like basically colour lift. So let's pop that down. Let's get that. So I've just left it to develop for a second, and then we can lift it off. And we've got some nice splodges. I might actually go in with a we go with hickory smoke. Where's my picket fence? Where is that gone? Linen. Resist. No, that's the resist. What's that one then? Oh well. I don't know what I've done with me white picket fence. Just give this a little bit of a mix up. My ink storage for my Distress sprays is a bit small. I need to get a second one. There we go. So, I still want a little bit more. There we go. She says. So I'm just going to quickly dry that. So apologise for the noise. Give that a quick dry off. Put these lids back on whilst I do it. Try and multitask. I'll pop those away in a minute. I don't know what I've done with my picket fence. Funny how things just disappear. I always think I've got everything around me, and then there's always something that I want that's disappeared. So I might blot just the rest of it. Yeah. Okay. Let's bring this back in and blot. Try not to smudge, just a bit of a blot. There we go. Now I've still got that nice kind of splurgy splurge. I'm just going to bring it up so you can see it in a bit more detail. Kind of really fun grungy background. And now let's just pop this on. Oh dear, should have known. Not a biggie because that's going to be covered up. Oh. Can't wait to see what everybody else starts to create with products. Now everybody should have received them. I've made a bit of a mess there, haven't I? Oopsie. I'm just going to line this up on my frame. I love this Distress glass mat, but it is not great when you do black backgrounds all the time. I can never see what I'm doing, but I think we've got it on straight. Well done, good job, Kel. So next, I think I'm gonna stick with my journal card, but I'm gonna rough up my edges a little. I do have a rougher edger upper somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure where it is. It's probably in the bottom of one of my pots. So I'm just going to use the edge of my scissors. Do be careful if you do this. Don't want anybody cutting themselves. Yeah, if you've got one of those, use it. I'm just going to rough this up a little bit. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on the edge. There we go. A little bit of rough. And then just... So I could go in with a little bit of the old stamps, but I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to add just a little bit of that grey and that grey. There we go. So I'll pop you there. So that's going to go on flat. Oh, for those of you that are interested, I am going to Fantasy Forest, which is a big event for all things quirky and different. So those that like to dabble in dressing up as fairies or warlocks or steampunk or whatever else you're really into. The event's sold out, so I'm super excited to be going. And I will be there probably doing some live demonstrations on my stall. So if you're going to the event, please come and say hello, because it's going to be an absolute brilliant one. Why does that say, oh no? Oh no, it's doing like words. Sorry, I've just noticed that. Where's my picky tool? Where's my pot? You know when you think you've got everything around you and then you suddenly don't? What was that then? Oh, there's one. Found another one. We're all right. I seem to be missing a pot of my bits. Right. So this is going to be raised up. Oh, before I forget, I wanted him poking out, so he's going to have to be raised up, isn't he? And I'm going to have to pop goes there actually. Probably remove that one. Right, that was easy to do. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have him poking through. So half in, half out. So let's just turn this over. Ooh, oh dear, she's having a nightmare. Okay, and let's get him kind of positioned about there. So I don't want the bottom bit poking out. Fiddly fiddly, eh? So let's pop him down and then pop the frame down. There we go. Look at that. That's perfect. And now we're going to just pop a little bit of glue on here and just tuck that behind. I love a black silhouette thing. And we will just lift the corner of that up and just poke him in. She says just poke him in. About there. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. Now, I'm still not entirely sure if I go down the bottom. What do you reckon? Down the bottom? Down the bottom? Or on the side? Isn't it funny how you can sometimes never choose? I think I'm going to go on the side. So let's just add a little bit of... Where did she put it? Oh, it's there. Glue. I'm a nightmare, I am. Okay, bit of glue on there. Just add that there. And fab. Look at that. So there is my project. I've used 4 different colours of ink there. I did use an oxide spray just to get my splatters. I've used the ephemera from the Vintage Collection. Some of the journaling cards that are in that collection. I've used stamps and stencils, all from Crafty as a Fox. The only thing that wasn't was my frame, which was from my Alice in Wonderland collection, and my little spruce there, which is an old Stampin' Up die. So it's always good to, you know, use all the products you've got. Let's flip you around. So there you are, there you are. I'm just gonna have a quick slap. It's always good to, you know, you may like using my books as your card journaling kind of project area, but you also, you know, you might want to use other products as well with it. And obviously I want you to create with whatever you've got, so you might have something similar to what I've done to create this project. But this was our project for today with our owl about town. There will be some exciting news coming up soon, because the new collection is on its way. There are some nice new things to the product line, and I just can't wait to share it with you. I'm not allowed to at the moment. Oh, sorry. Just saw your message saying bottom. I should have done it bottom, shouldn't I? Thanks, sweetie. Next time. And yeah, so if you can join me next Friday, fantastic. I will put a event up for me to do another Facebook Live next Friday, as long as nothing clashes with that. We had sports day yesterday for my son, and we didn't know it was going to go ahead because it was supposed to be horrible raining all day, until like we didn't really find out till about 9 o'clock that yes, it was going ahead. But we got there and it was so overcast, we're like, it's gonna rain, but it didn't. So it was a good day, you know. I did get a little bit sunburnt. Should have put some more sun cream on. Anyway, I'm waffling. So thank you so much for joining me. If you want to learn more about card journaling, follow us, be part of the journey. You can always get my book, which there is a link in the comments, for the card journaling technique book, the card journaling logbook, and the new card journaling logbook in size 6x6 and 8x8. So if you like to work in that size, I have already created it and it is ready on Amazon for you. Amazon are pretty quick with deliveries as well, so because they do it directly. Anyway, I'm waffling as always because I just can't help myself. I will see you all next week. There will be some more content coming out on my YouTube channel, so if you aren't already subscribed, please head over to there, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you can see what's happening next. And I will see you for definite, I reckon, she says, next Friday for another crafty fun with Crafty as a Fox. So thanks. I'll see you all soon, and keep it crafty, people.